Hello and welcome to Sunday Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith. This Sunday, John Meacham preached at Washington National Cathedral. And his message was about how the long arch of history bends toward justice, but how sometimes we have to do more than just bend. We need to take a dramatic curve in order to get to the justice part. At St. James, the reading was from Hebrews, that Jesus enters into the sanctuary, not the replica of the true sanctuary, but into heaven itself. I love that because I don't even know what that means. Lisa Hackney James gave her sermon from the gospel reading about the widow who puts her 2 last pennies into the offering plate at the temple. Lisa said that modern translations of this story have tried to reframe this person as a victim of systemic economic injustice. Lisa said that people who give out of abundance do so out of a sense of personal autonomy, but those who give out of their scarcity do so as an act of personal agency, because in many cases, they are giving all they have. Reframing the story takes away the personal agency of those who are already marginalized by those with the abundance in our society. Each week at Sunday Coffee Hour, I serve a special treat for guests. This week I served these delicious Rice Krispie treats. And each week it's always something different. Mini scones, mini muffins, cookies, brownies, meringues, petit fours, etc. And I do pride myself on never having served the same treat more than once. But I can tell you that after hosting Coffee Hour for over a year and a half, I'm running out of new items to feature. During the pandemic, I developed a relationship with brands I have never encountered before. Little Debbie, Hostess, and others. I was suspect of some of these brands, which I thought of as rather down market, but I found myself crossing over the aisle in the supermarket to embrace these brands. I suspect that Little Debbie is a front for the International Coconut Cartel because almost every Little Debbie treat has coconut in it. Years ago, our church receptionist told me that during the week, people would call asking if we were going to be serving donut holes or cookies at Coffee Hour. And if she didn't say donut holes, caller would abruptly hang up. This week at Sunday Coffee Hour, I served the Rice Krispie treats, and none of our guests hung up. The topics of conversation at Sunday Coffee Hour were Civil War prisons, Andersonville prison, pipeline to prison, genealogy, and the Mormon Church, and the practice of temple recommend. It was also shared at Coffee Hour that some churches feel they no longer know who their members are due to the pandemic. Yet, in honor of All Saints' Day, they were able to include a list of all the members who had died in the past year. Apparently, it is much easier to keep track of the dead people than it is the living. It reminded me of my friend Alex, who was a Greek Orthodox. Alex is a faithful Greek Orthodox, but he also sometimes attends Church of the Atonement. When his father was sick and dying in a hospital, he was startled when the minister from Church of the Atonement came to visit him and his father in the hospital. Alex asked them, why are you here? Because neither he nor his father was a member. And John David, the priest and rector of the Church of Atonement at the time, said, "We consider you and all those in our parish to be part of our church family." Later, on Sunday, when I visited my friend Bill, who is still in rehab, he and I went over the topics of Sunday Coffee Hour. And Bill reminded me that we have Oakwood Cemetery right here in Chicago, Illinois, which is considered the Andersonville of Civil War dead of the North. After Bill mentioned this, I do seem to remember the controversy a few years back about the Confederate flag flying over the graves in that cemetery. I remember the moral indignation over the flag and how the moral arch of history did indeed take a dramatic curve during the controversy, and that flag was taken down. For me, this is an example of an act of personal autonomy by those, out of their abundance, the abundance of time, life, and liberty, to have the moral indignation to make this act at the expense of the people buried in the cemetery, who more likely than not represent people of personal agency, the people who gave all they had. If you are coming to Sunday Coffee Hour, there is no need to dial ahead and no need to take any dramatic curving course to get here. You will not be included in any kind of list, living or dead, because Sunday Coffee Hour is open and welcoming to everyone. I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.